I wanted to know a little bit about you personally. What was it in your life that brought you into music when you were a young man? And was it your father or someone in your family that introduced you to guitar playing?
I basically just loved singing along with the radio and when I was a kid, and I never thought of myself as being a musician or making instruments. I always was fascinated with like airplanes of all things. I ended up going to architectural school and hadn't done anything musical. Met a friend who had a guitar, and it seemed like an awful lot of fun. So I got a guitar and I started learning. I learned a few chords, and the thing broke. It
Yeah.
broke right at the headpiece. It was a Gibson J45. They scooped out. The nuts were narrow. They scooped a lot of wood out to get that truss
Yeah.
rod adjuster in, and it snapped there, as they are prone to. Um, I was at that point just getting close to graduating from architectural school, and I knew enough about structures that the 3 or 4 professionals in Manhattan who tried to fix it, I realized it's just you can't just glue the thing on. And there was a course being given at the YWCA in Manhattan. The seventh
Yes.
floor was a craft students league, and they had some very cool craft courses. And there was a course being given on guitar building,
Mm-hmm.
how to build a classical guitar
Mm-hmm.
with like 10 hand tools, and it was being taught by Michael Gurian, who, I don't know if you know who he is, but he's very famous as a consultant for Gibson and
I
Fender for
see.
production, and
Uh,
he had his own guitars. Gurian guitars they're legendary. At the time, he was selling guitars to John Sebastian and Paul Simon
yeah.
and lots of people. Anyway, he was selling his nylon string guitars for about $4,000. This was like in '68, so it's like $50,000 now.
Wow.
Anyway, I took the course and I just got really turned on.
Yeah.
I'd have been told by another friend that I could not hold a tune and I couldn't sing, um, which I took as true. And I think out of sheer frustration, I decided I really felt like making guitars. So
Yeah.
I quit my job, and in the interim, I got a job as a designer on Park Avenue. I was very lucky, or I was fortunate to have a really good design portfolio, and I had a dream job working for this very prestigious firm, designing gorgeous hotels and really just perfect dream design jobs.
Yeah.
But I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
So I quit and I started making guitars, making acoustic guitars. And
Kind of the rest is history from that point, it sounds
yeah, and
like.
then my life's been basically divided up between making guitars and performing. I do a
Yeah.
lot of performing. I was partnered with Harvey Citron for about 4 years. We had a company called Veillette Citron. When I left that, when we stopped, I basically, for 8 years, I didn't make any guitars.
Yeah.
I made one baritone guitar for Earl Slick and the bass for Joe DeMeo from Manowar, and
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
And I was a full-time musician.
Yeah. And you
Uh,
mostly played in Manhattan area?
but mostly, but Canada down to the Jersey Shore. A lot in Manhattan. We
Yeah.
played the Bottom Line a bunch of times, and we did a cappella shows also. So we were Radio City Music Hall and the China Club. It was a very hip place in the city, and we were doing a lot of openers. I became friendly with Yorma, who had bought a guitar from me, and we did some touring with him, and I sang, we did background vocals on
Yeah.
one of the Hot Tuna records, and people like John Sebastian was performing with some. And I just forgot about making guitars for a while.
Yeah.
Then Stuart Spector moved to the area. His company had been bought out by Spector had been bought up by Kramer, and then Kramer went belly up.
Yeah.
So he asked me if I'd be partners because I still have the tools from Veillette Citron. So all the tools you just saw in the other shop, we moved out
I see.
3 miles down the road where his shop is.
Yeah.
And I set up the production situation.
Yeah.
Worked with him for 2 years. Then decided I really should be on my own.
Yeah.
And now I'm sort of have a nice balance between playing music and making guitars. But I'm making things that I think make sense. I'm not.
Yes.
Having a partner can be difficult in some ways.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, the instruments that you make are just phenomenal, Joe. I can't
Well,
tell you
thank
how
you.
much I appreciate your time today. And, please, at any point in the future, if there's anything that we can do for you as we move forward with the Musician Network, we'd love to do that.
I'm sure you'll be hearing from me.
Thanks again for watching. You're watching the Musician Network.